Hello and good morning to all of you Ace Attorney fans lurking out there. We're gonna get started in just a couple of minutes. I'm getting settled here in my little streaming station. If you hear any crunchy noises in the background, that would just be the autonomous rats munching on some cereal treats that one of my blog fans sent in. They love those little Gerber puff things, and right now I have one of banana, one of vanilla, and one of blueberry, and so they're getting to sample all of their favorite flavors. Let's see. As of last week, we had just completed Case 1-3, Turnabout Samurai, where Phoenix saves tokusatsu action star Will Powers from accusations that he murdered his co-star Jack Hammer. It was a typical case where people were lying to the defense and, it turns out, also to the prosecution. Edgeworth got real mad near the end of the case, started accusing the witnesses of things himself. Everyone was very confused, except actually kind of Phoenix. During the celebration afterward in the defense lobby, Edgeworth stormed in and of course made it very weird, telling Phoenix that he brought up, quote, unnecessary feelings, unquote, and telling him never to show his face in court again. Phoenix was less rattled by this than you would think. Powers was very confused, and Maya demanded that Phoenix tell her what is going on, which in fact he did not, before the case ended. Today we're starting the infamous Case 1-4 Turnabout Goodbyes. It's a little bit chilly out here in New England where I am, so we can go solve a frosty Christmas murder this time. Just so everybody knows, again, I'm up in New England, which is not really in the path of the impending solar eclipse, and it's kind of cloudy out there anyway, so I probably won't see anything interesting, but if anything interesting happens, I will definitely stop streaming for a few minutes and go, like, stare at the sun through a filter or something. I don't know. I have no idea what'll happen. I do know what'll happen in the Ace Attorney game because I've only played this like 8 times, so let's get going. And off we go. Episode 4, Turnabout Goodbyes, Day 1, Investigation. It's been what, 15 years? About that, yes. 15 years is a long time to wait. You can't imagine how much I've suffered. You suffered? But now, the perfect opportunity has presented itself. At last, I shall have my revenge. What? Merry Christmas. Alright, well that's probably bad. December 25th, 10:08 a.m., Wright & Company Law Offices. Hey, Nick! Do you know if there are any good waterfalls around here? Waterfalls? Dare I ask why? Duh, Nick! Isn't it obvious? I need a waterfall to stand under, preferably a freezing one. Oh, is that part of your spirit medium training? Of course! Except I've been slacking off lately. I need to brave the elements and be forged anew under the rushing spring waters. Okay. I don't know about any falls per se, but Gourd Lake is pretty close. Oh, darn. Sorry, but them's the breaks. Can you just take a cold shower or something? Good idea! So much for rushing spring waters. Next in the news, a large unidentified animal was sighted at Gourd Lake. The town is buzzing with excitement. Locals are calling it Gordy in a tip of the hat to Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. Though its namesake Nessie proved to be a hoax, locals are confident their Gordy is the real deal. Spring. Can't they show real news for a change? Nick? Huh? Water pressure's kind of low in that shower. You want more pressure, huh? Why don't you go down to the fire department, have them spray you with the hose?
Good idea, Nick.
Apparently, Fey blood is no aid in detecting sarcasm. We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. Strange occurrences continue at Gourd Lake, but this time, it's murder. Gourd Lake again? The body of a man was found in the lake early this morning. A suspect was apprehended. Sources inside the police department revealed that the suspect's name is Miles Edgeworth, age 24. Edgeworth was an up-and-coming prosecutor known for his skill and connections. He was guaranteed a long and rewarding career. Has he thrown it all away? Huh? Edgeworth? What's going on? Edgeworth would never do something like...
Nick?
Maya!
Fireman yelled at me when I called him.
We've got bigger things to worry about than that. They arrested Edgeworth.
What? You mean the prosecutor?
Yeah, he's a suspect in a murder.
What? When? Where? Whom? Why? How?
I don't know.
Let's go find out, Nick.
Mind you, the last time Phoenix saw Edgeworth, Edgeworth was angry and awkward and having a whole bunch of feelings that basically ended in him telling Phoenix never to show up again. Yeah, this is a little weird. Oh, what should we do?
What do you mean? Let's investigate. We should talk to Mr. Edgeworth and check out the crime scene.
Right? We need more information. Save aimlessness and confusion for later. Maya's dialogue back here at Wright & Company law offices is generally a hint to players of the game. If you don't know what to do next, typically she'll have some suggestion as to where to go or what to check out. It's actually fairly difficult to get stuck in these games, I've found. The guidance as to where the investigation should go is usually pretty good. There are a couple of places that you could do more than one thing at a given time, but they generally don't force you to do it in linear order, which is helpful. It gets a lot worse, unfortunately, in the fourth game, Apollo Justice. It has some scripting and mechanics problems that we'll get to when we get to. Oh, if anybody hears rustling, that is again the rats. They got new bedding last night and they're busy rearranging it to their heart's content. Alright, let's go find out what happened. December 25th, Detention Center, Visitor's Room. I should point out that it's Christmas and Phoenix and Maya are both in the office. Partly this is because of their respective life situations. Maya doesn't really have any useful family, and besides which she comes from a place called Kurain Village where they're sort of generally Japanese in custom. Christmas isn't a really big family holiday in Japan. In fact, Christmas in Japan is considered a lover's holiday, which is part of why the internet thinks this game is so gay. Phoenix doesn't ever really mention much about his family. I think there's a throwaway line once that says he's an only child, but other than that, nothing. So, yeah, just kind of assume that there are no nearby relatives for them to be visiting, even if they wanted to. So instead, they were in the office, watching the news, and now they are down at the county jail.
You know, Nick,
We've all been in here one time or another, haven't we? Phoenix has actually been in there a couple of times. It was not fun. I guess it comes with the territory.
I'm not sure it's something we should mention to too many people.
Hey, Edgeworth, come back! What are you doing here?
Nick, I don't think he's in a very good mood.
Well, he is in detention. Were you in a good mood when you were here? So you've come to laugh at the fallen attorney. Then laugh. Laugh. Well, why aren't you laughing?
Nick, should we be laughing?
Nah, it's a trick. Laugh and he'll get mad. Or burst into tears. Which is an interesting reaction from Phoenix, because Edgeworth has never actually had a mood other than smug or angry in court at this point. Edgeworth. We don't have so much free time we can spend it coming down here laughing. Yes, you do. Actually, he's right. I hoped you wouldn't come. I didn't want you to see me. Not like this. I didn't want to see you like this either. Leave me. Okay, what the hell is going on? Edgeworth, tell me what happened. Why should I? What are you going to do about it? Duh! We're gonna help you, that's what. Help me? You. Sounds a bit ridiculous. Sorry? You're a novice. You've only been in 3 trials. Hey! Or you got lucky and won all 3. Your luck's bound to run out some. You need real skill, right? Experience. Nick, he's insulting you! Nick? Am I always the one who has to get angry? I mean, she kinda has a point there. Edgeworth is very brusque. Even with people Edgeworth likes, he's very brusque. The murder took place at Gourd Lake, correct? Yes. Late last night. The lake is a long way away from your offices and the courthouse. Why were you down there? I see no need to tell you. Swerve? You didn't really... Gordy. Huh? I went to see Gordy. This is also where you find out that Edgeworth isn't a good liar either. Gordy? I'll tell you later. Why won't Edgeworth talk to us? Look, dude, you haven't got a whole lot of choices. Your attorney's badge? Edgeworth. Let me defend you. Ha! Ha! Good one, Wright. I'm not that hard up. Not yet. What do you mean by that? Me? Trust a wet behind-the-ears lawyer with only 3 trials under his belt. Never. What? My case is near hopeless, Wright. Every defense attorney I've talked to has turned me down. What? Simply put, they were afraid they'd lose. It occurred to me that it might be my fault that they lacked confidence. After all, I did get every single one of their clients declared guilty. I don't believe it. Regardless, I don't want you involved in this. You in particular, I cannot ask to do this. Help! Edgeworth, this is really hard for me to ask, but you didn't do it, right? Right? Think what you will. I have only one request. Huh? Stay out of this case. Why? But Nick is trying to help you. No. I know that. But I don't want your help. Okay? Why not? Look, just go away and leave me alone.
Nick, Mr. Edgeworth did it, didn't he?
Maya, let's go investigate elsewhere.
Nick.
Well, apparently we're being, thrown out of detention? Okay. Yeah, stay out of this case. No. No, we will not stay out of this case. Thank you very much. We never stay out of anything. That's just not what Phoenix does. If Phoenix stayed out of all the weird things he's been ordered to keep his nose out of, chaos. I mean, chaos when he sticks his nose in anyway, but he wouldn't have a career is my point. December 25th, Gourd Lake Park entrance.
This is where it happened?
Yeah, Gourd Lake is in the middle of this park.
I can see some police walking around in there.
Questioning people, probably.
Hey, isn't that Detective Gumshoe over there?
Well, pal? There's enough of us here. Anyone found anything? Sorry, sir, nothing. Idiot. Trial's tomorrow. We need clues on the double. But sir, there weren't any clues. That's why we arrested that attorney, Mr. Edgeworth. It's clear, sir. He's the one who— Shut up! Just you try saying that again. I'll make you sorry if you do. So just get out of my face, pal. Poor Gumshoe. Gumshoe really likes Edgeworth. He's a loyal puppy dog. I'm not altogether sure why Gumshoe likes Edgeworth at this point. From what we've seen of Edgeworth's career as a prosecutor, he's kind of growly and mean and doesn't really care whether anyone's innocent or guilty, but, yeah, you know, Gumshoe is actually ultimately justified. So, you know. Yes, sir.
Detective Gumshoe's kind of scary today.
Recruits! Yeah! Hey, you're that Harry guy. Harry Butts. Wright! Phoenix Wright. Will he ever learn my name? Just what are you doing here, pal? Investigating? Huh? Well, yeah, I suppose. Well, I'm here to help. Ask me anything you want. Bring it.
He seems different than usual. I wonder what's up. Mr. Edgeworth hasn't actually asked us to defend him yet.
Huh? Oh, you don't say. Oh, poor Gumshoe.
Detective Gumshoe, do you know what happened here?
Huh? You don't know, pal? No. Wow. Okay, Mr. Head in the Fluffy Pink Cloud lawyer.
Head in the...
Never mind, I'll tell you. It happened last night, about 15 minutes after midnight. There was a boat out on Gourd Lake. In that boat were two men. One of those men shot the other with a pistol.
And the shooter was Mr. Edgeworth?
Cop who arrived on the scene arrested him.
How did they get there so fast?
Well, there was a witness. When the report came in, we raced to the lake.
A witness? You don't think Mr. Edgeworth is a murderer, do you?
Absolutely not. It's impossible. I don't care if there's a witness either. I don't believe a lick of it.
Right! Who cares what the witness says? I care. You really believe in him, don't you, Detective?
Of course I do. But the police are pretty sure he's the killer. Nobody's even really taking this investigation seriously.
Oh no!
After all the help Mr. Edgeworth has been to us, hard to imagine that no one's standing up to take his side.
Well, at least you are, Detective. At least you are. Is it true? No one will take Mr. Edgeworth's case?
Yeah. He's a bit of a celebrity. You defended him and lost, your reputation be sure to suffer. What's more, the case against him is, well, it's pretty solid. Suppose it would be if they have a witness. Hey, pal! Don't tell me you're gonna turn your back on him too! Remember the Steel Samurai case? Mr. Edgeworth helped you get your client declared innocent. I know. I went to Edgeworth. I tried. He really doesn't want us to represent him. Especially not us, he said. What? Well, that doesn't make any sense, pal. You should have heard him talking about you after that trial. He kept saying right, 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 over and over.
Nick? I'm not sure that's a good sign.
Neither am I. Why wouldn't he want your help? I don't get it. Who was this witness? Sorry, pal. That's confidential. Anyway, the witness saw everything, apparently. I'm sure they'll turn up at the trial tomorrow. Was there only that one witness? Yep. Pretty cold out on the lake last night. And it was Christmas Eve, after all. Still, we're being thorough. You never know when you're gonna turn up another witness. That's why we're here today, checking things out. So far, we're coming up empty.
Oh, it's Christmas today! I'd forgotten.
Again, from a village with very Japanese cultural sensibilities. Maya probably doesn't celebrate Christmas, or if she does, it's for other people's benefit. I think there are a couple... Okay, I know there are a couple of official art pieces for Christmas celebrations. The team at Capcom tends to put out special occasion art pieces for the release of new games, for anniversaries, that kind of stuff. If you look around online, you can find them. I think one of them has Larry dressed up in a Santa costume being Larry. And I think there's also one with the group decorating a tree. Anyhow, there's a lot of people conspicuously being not at home with family on Christmas, and it's because, in a Japanese cultural setting, Christmas is not like a take the day off work kind of holiday. You might have a party in the same way that people might have a party for like New Year's Eve in America. But it's not a really big, everybody gets off work, everybody stays home with family, and you, like, have a big dinner or anything. Strangely enough, Kentucky Fried Chicken has kind of made Christmas one of the centerpieces of its ad campaign in Japan. People will actually order KFC buckets for Christmas, and you have to order weeks in advance because it's such a widespread thing. It's... yeah, Japan.
What are you getting me for Christmas, Nick?
Talk to Santa. Detective Gumshoe, sir! What? Find something? No, sir. Not yet. But there was a call from the precinct. They want to hold an investigation briefing. Briefing? Right! I'm off! Oh, sorry, pal. I guess you heard. I gotta go. Any last things you want to ask me about before I head back? I don't know. You want the autopsy report or how to get in touch with him? I mean, I'm gonna say autopsy report because we kind of know where he's gonna be.
Well, yeah, do you have any information on the victim?
Yeah, sorry. They haven't worked up the autopsy report yet. I'm still waiting for it myself. Actually, say, if you get the time, drop by the precinct. We can talk more there, pal. You're not coming back, Detective? Probably not, pal. So what should we do if we have something to talk to you about? Ah, right. Here, I'll show you how to get to the precinct. Come down and see me anytime. Directions to the police station received from Detective Gumshoe. Oh hey, Detective Gumshoe! Wow. We'd like to take a look around in the park. Can we walk around? Yeah, no problem, pal. You got my permission.
You know, Nick, I think there's something to be said for talking to people when they're busy.
Yeah, they don't have time to think about not giving you information.
Right. Now let's get investigating.
Alright, off we go to investigate. Board Lake Public Beach.
Wowzers! This is Gourd Lake?
Yep. I'm not sure it warrants a wowzers, though.
Huh, probably not. But hey, look at that snack stand!
Samurai dog?
I want a samurai dog, please!
In Japanese, these are, the steel samurai in Japanese is, Tono-sama. Tono-sama is like a feudal lord from Japanese history, and they kind of combine it with the man suffix that you get on superhero names. So, Tono-saman, and the snack stand was Tono-samanju. Manju are little buns. So instead of hot dogs, they were just little, like, street vendor, street cart buns. It's a string of very silly puns.
I bet they're great!
With a name like Samurai Dog, how could they not be?
They're a little behind the times, though. The kids are all into the Pink Princess now.
At the end of the last case, Willpower's the Tokusatsu star. Tokusatsu stars are typically, like, the action hero is typically not the same actor that provides the face for the out-of-costume character. Like, I know in Western superhero series, you typically have the same actor portraying, like, Batman in and out of the suit. In Tokusatsu shows, it's usually a stunt actor in the suit. Willpower's was always in the Steel Samurai suit. Nobody ever saw his face, which is how he's also gotten the role of the Pink Princess. Which is definitely not a role he would be providing the face for. There's probably a completely different actress playing the Pink Princess when she's not in the superhero costume. That's just kind of the way things work in Japanese TV. Part of the last case was that the guy who played the bad guy in the Steel Samurai, Jack Hammer, the victim, had a significant fall from grace at Global Studios. The posters on the wall of the trailer suggested that he was also known as a face character, like he was an action hero that played his previous hero characters both in and out of the mask, and so being relegated to the role of the bad guy who always wore a mask and was never seen, like, on camera was a significant blow to his career. He did not appreciate it at all. Anyway, our client was acquitted and he got a new job, and apparently the kids are all into the Pink Princess now, so that's wonderful for him. Will Powers reoccurs in the series, by the way. Phoenix actually has, like, a entertainment contact. He remains a friend of the law offices, which is kind of sweet. I mean, like, you know? Mind you, these shows are all aimed to, like, 10 years old, to, like, 10-year-olds, and Maya is, 17? Yeah. How old is Maya? She's 17. Okay. Miles is 24. Gumshoe's 30. Everybody is very, very young. And it's a thing with Japanese series. I'm not really sure, other than, I guess, to succeed so young is very impressive. Typically at age 24, as standard in America, age 24 would be like a 2L in law school. You might have graduated if you started undergrad kind of early. You definitely would not be working in a county prosecutor's office. Mind you, Phoenix is 24, 25, and so is his childhood friend Larry, so... A hot dog stand. It's closed. The Christmas fringe looks a little half-baked. The banner reads Samurai Dogs. Somebody needs to redecorate. Huh, someone left some poppers here. You know, you pull the string, and it goes pop. Yeah, I know the ones. You see them a lot around New Year's.
Hey, Nick, it might be a clue. Let's take them.
Come on, admit it. You just want to pop them, right?
Wasn't that obvious?
Poppers. Huh. Suppose it couldn't hurt. Huh? Where'd they go?
Into my pocket.
Poppers put in pocket. Trash can is empty. At least the place is well maintained. Huh. I almost didn't see that signpost. Left, boat docks. Right, exit. Wow, Gourd Lake is really big. Yeah? Say, Nick, what's it called Gourd Lake? Oh, well, a long time ago they used to grow gourds here.
Whoa, no way! I was sure it was because the lake looked like a gourd when viewed from above. You know, like an hourglass shape.
Well, it is shaped like a gourd, actually, but that's just a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
Alright, what else is around here? Gourd Lake Woods.
I like it here, Nick. Look, someone's camping.
We've got Guts camping at the scene of a murder, and right in front of the no camping sign if you notice it in the background there.
Hey, Nick. If they were camping here last night, they might know something about the murder.
That's true. Good call, Maya. Let's go talk to him. This SUV has seen better days. It's dented all over. Can't believe anyone would drive their car down here.
Hey, Nick.
What? Don't tell me you're hungry again.
No. I was just wondering, why are camping pots and pans made of aluminum?
They didn't talk about that in any of the law books.
So there's no law saying they have to be made out of aluminum then?
I'm not having this conversation. Oh, Phoenix. There's food and some magazines on the sheet. Takes a pretty tough skin to camp in this cold. Trees grow quite thick here. Further back, the trees fade into the shadow where the sunlight can't reach them. Sign says no camping. Funny place to pick to pitch your tent.
Wait, what if the sign said no setting tents on fire?
I don't think they have signs like that. Oh. That's interesting. This camera has a mic and some sort of attachment. That particular microphone is a style called a shotgun mic. You know, regular vocal mics have just sort of a little ball on top, and they pick up in what's called a cardioid pattern. It looks, if you look at it from above, it's kind of like a heart with the internal point centered on the microphone. In 3 dimensions, it's kind of more of a mushroom shape. A shotgun mic is set to pick up sound specifically from one direction, and it's like aimed down the barrel of the microphone. So that particular one is tilted out to capture sound specifically from the light. Like, it shouldn't pick up too much from anybody standing behind the camera or somebody back out in the woods. It's specifically pointed at the light. You must take pictures when triggered by a noise.
Oh, cool. Let's try it out. Hi, I'm Nick. Maybe I'm not saying it loud enough. Hey, I'm Nick! Huh. Nick! Will you stop that? Maybe it's broken. Don't kick it.
Maybe it isn't set to respond to voices?
Well, what then? These things?
The party poppers?
Oh, they responded.
Yeah!
Hey, you! Get your hands off of that! What in the Sam Hill? What you done now? There goes a whole roll of film. What? Huh? Sorry. Sorry's nice, but it don't pay my bills. Y'all know how much a roll of that film costs? Pay back. What were y'all thinking setting off a party popper in a place like this? Well? What? Don't try to play stupid with me just because you think I'm some country bumpkin.
This particular witness speaks, it's rendered in a southern accent, like from the southeastern US. In the original Japanese, she speaks in what's called Kansai-ben, or Osaka-ben. It's a regional accent from the Kansai region south of Tokyo. It's Okay, the standard accent used by newscasters in Japanese, and usually the ones you get in your lesson books if you take a course in it, is Kanto-ben, which is the Tokyo region accent, and it's standardized pretty much because Tokyo is the capital. Kansai-ben is one of the larger regional accents from down around Kyoto, just basically Osaka. And in English language media, it's typically localized as either a southern accent or something super specific like Brooklyn or Philly or Chicago. The general stereotype in Japanese is not necessarily stupid, but less like city slicker kind of a thing. Honestly, not necessarily more rural either, but less modernized, less slick, less urbane. And so, you see it on characters who are supposed to be, like, they're typically pretty casual in their speech. Sometimes they're loud and brash. Sometimes they're depicted as naive to the more, like, sophisticated upper-class things in life. But typically, there's also the stereotype, typically they're also supposed to be good-hearted, and sometimes you get, like, Matlock-style country wisdom out of them. Again, here it's been localized as a southern accent, which is actually fairly good for this character. It just varies in localization. I'm not entirely sure how you localize it in other languages. I have a suspicion that in media for North America, the French version is probably localized as Québécois or Acadian or something. There's a specific accent in Québécois French Bourgeois, which it comes from how the accent changes the phonemics of the word cheval, horse in French. It's bourgeois, but I don't know for sure. I would have to hunt down a North American specific French release of something with a lot of heavy text in it to figure it out. I have absolutely no idea what these are rendered as in European languages. In German, I would suspect it is probably Bavarian. I don't know what the equivalent would be in like Italian or Spanish, but I'm sure that there is one. I think there's a bunch of different languages included in this particular Steam release of the Ace Attorney trilogy, so I might go poking through them and find out what they are. I don't know that I could get through this game in Spanish or German without having a dictionary with me. I'd probably get through it in French okay. I know the Japanese version I did need a dictionary, but that's because they don't have any pronunciation hiragana on any of the kanji. But, my recognition vocabulary in Japanese is not as good as it could be. I should try harder, but like I'm already also learning 3 other languages on Duolingo right now, so you get in line.
Yeah, I know how y'all Yanks think. I say those southern folks talk with that exaggerated drawl, why they must be dumb. Well, let me tell you, just because I might be dumb don't mean we all are. Nick, help. And who are you now, her chaperone?
No. Rather, we're sort of...
Just figure out what y'all are gonna say and say it for bejesus' sake. God, I'd rather sit through one of Papa's draws than listen to you stutter all day.
Oh boy. I guess we should pay her for the film.
Watch it!
Yes, ma'am. Timeline for these games. The Ace Attorney Wikia has actually figured out where in actual time these games are supposed to be set. There are very few solid dates or years given in this series. One of them actually does come up when investigating this case, which specifically places this incident in December of 2016. And at that point, film was still available, although Kodak was winding down on its production of it, and it was relatively expensive. Digital cameras had taken over the marketplace to the point where you had to go specifically look for film instead of a digital camera, even if you were buying one of those like disposable things for parties. So yeah, paying her back for film would be kind of a thing. On second thought, I'll pay later.
I'm really sorry. What? Y'all see I'm changing the film on my camera here? Someone, I'm not naming any names, but someone used up a whole roll. Sorry. That didn't work. Wonder if I have anything to show her that would get her attention.
Well, we only have, like, one thing to show people at this point. Hi, I'm a lawyer.
I, this is my badge. Huh? My badge is supposed to be all shiny and impressive. Cop or something? I'm a lawyer. Y'all ain't gonna try and pull one of them lawsuits over on me over that film now. Because I'll have y'all know I'm a fighter and I wrestled meaner looking things than you. No, that's not it at all. We're here investigating a murder that took place here on the lake. A murder? Sounds cool. Why didn't y'all say that in the first place? Go ahead, ask me anything you like. Finally, some cooperation. You two, y'all can come out of hiding now. I won't bite. Hard. Let's think of it. Where did Maya get to? I was feeling a little overwhelmed. The culture gap and all. Never you mind, honey. I can talk Yank for you if it pleases you. Thanks. I think I'll be okay. Yeah, for that brief little snippet, she switches from Kansai Ben to Kanto Ben, which is what Maya speaks. Right then, I'm Lotta. Lotta Hart, but y'all can call me Lotta. I'm here photographing meteor showers for a research project. Mighty pleased to meet you. Okay, well, will you talk to us now? Oh yeah, when was that murder anyway? I ain't seen much television lately. It happened late in the night on Christmas Eve. That's so? Christmas Eve. A man on a boat was shot. Did you see anything? Well, let me see. A boat, you say? I might have seen one. Not sure, though. Oh, gotta remember, I've been watching this here lake for a good 3 days now. I've seen enough boats to choke a mule. Kinda hard to remember which I seen when. So, what is it you do, Lotta? Huh? Me? Y'all don't really want to know that, do ya? Actually, I'm a research student at Country U, right here in the heart of the Heartland. Oh, neat! Nick, she's a research student at a university. Country U! So I hear. So when did you come up here? Let me see. I guess it was about 3 days ago. What are you photographing? Didn't I tell y'all that already? Meteors. Meteor showers. Falling stars? What a camera you have there. Y'all better know it! It's German-made, a genuine Solingen. Isn't that where they make knives? As an aside, German-made cameras are actually very highly regarded. There's a brand called Leica, L-E-I-C-A, that used to produce some extremely high-quality film cameras, and that's probably what they're getting at here. Leica probably still makes high-grade optics for digital cameras. I have not checked in quite a while. Kodak is not the be-all, end-all of cameras, although they are still a very high-quality brand of everything. Olympus makes ones too, and there are some other manufacturers elsewhere in the world. But Leica is the premier German camera maker, or at least was. So what's that device you have stuck to the camera? Huh? Device? Your camera went off all by itself when I fired my party popper. Oh, that! That mic triggers the shutter whenever it detects certain sounds. It's programmed to pick up loud noises right now. A programmable camera? Neat! Lotta's camera added to the court record. Huh. I wonder if we can get her to talk more about the camera. Lotta? Yeah? So your camera, it triggers on loud explosion noises? Yep. Actually, the victim in the case we're researching, he was shot with a pistol. A pistol? Right. Now, wouldn't a gunshot make a similar noise to our party popper? I guess it would. Your camera didn't get a picture of the murder, did it? Hey! Y'all are pretty bright. Huh? I see what you're saying. Tell you what, I'll have a look-see at my film. It would have been a photo taken late last night. I checked it once, don't remember if there was anything on them, though. But what if I got something? I could be witness to a genuine murder. Yeehaw!
I'll go check that film. Y'all come back now, you hear? She went inside her SUV. I guess we should come back later. Well, we can head on over to the precinct, see if Gumshoe has anything to tell us while she checks her photos. You see that plushie back there by the desk? That's the chief of the detectives in the glasses back there. That plushie is called the Blue Badger. That will haunt your dreams. That occurs regularly in Phoenix Wright games. Its character reactions vary. Some of them think it's cute. Many of them think it's an absolute abomination unto nature and can't understand why the police keep using it as a mascot. Its design evolves a little bit over the course of the games. That particular one you will find out like 5 games from now is called Proto Badger. It's kind of cute. Chief of D's apparently designed it, which is why it's still there. I guess Detective Gumshoe is still in that meeting. Hey! Thanks for coming down, pal. Detective Gumshoe! We just finished the meeting, for better or for worse. I get the feeling we're in for some bad news. Alright, give it to me straight. Do you know anything about the victim yet? Nope. Still can't ID him. Has Mr. Edgeworth said anything? Not a word. So how did the meeting go? I can't tell you, pal. You're a lawyer. True? No. I don't know what to believe anymore. Sure, Mr. Edgeworth's human like you and me. Still. I get the feeling that if he'd done something wrong, he wouldn't go hiding it. That's just the kind of guy he is. Why can't anyone else see that? So they think that Mr. Edgeworth did it? Well, the trial's starting tomorrow, as scheduled. I see. Hey, in the end, you did tell us about the meeting. Don't go telling anyone else, pal. Yes, sir. And do me a favor. Stand by Mr. Edgeworth. He needs help, and you're the ones to help him. Sure, he's got some reason why he won't talk to us. It's Detective Gumshoe. Detective Gumshoe, how come you trust Mr. Edgeworth so much? Well, I think that was obvious. We got a strong working relationship, us two. Yes, kinda no. Edgeworth doesn't think he's much of a detective, but he does appreciate the loyalty. We trust each other, and that's how it works. A working relationship. See, Mr. Edgeworth always gets his defendants to plead guilty, every time. Yeah, his methods might be a little extreme at times, but there's a reason. He trusts our investigation, see? He trusts us to get the right man. That's why I work extra hard, pal. We've got to earn that trust he places in us. See... Mr. Edgeworth is a man you can trust. And you have my word on that. I was wondering, did you ever get that autopsy report? Oh, that? Yeah, I made a copy for you. Time of death, sometime on the 24th or 25th? Was 1 bullet shot to the heart. Thank you. Nick? Huh? Can you show me that photo of the victim? Please. Someone you know? I don't know. I just get this feeling that I met him somewhere a long time. Well, let's go see if Lotta has any more interesting photos to show us.
Lotta! Get up a sec. We got bingo! Bingo? My automatic camera took 2 pictures last night. Hey! This is them. Take a look. Wait. See? See? He's shooting him with that pistol. It looks like that, yes. But you can't really tell who that is shooting. Yeah, well, there was enough fog out there last night to strangle a bullfrog. But you know, seeing these photos reminded me of something. What? I saw the murder happen. I'm a witness. What? Are you serious? Of course. How do you forget? Never mind. Y'all reckon I should tell the cops? I reckon so. Sad. Now don't y'all go trying to mock my accent. I'm a sensitive lady. Hey, so I'm off to talk to the cops. Y'all can have this photo. Later. Wait, Lotta. What? Can't y'all see I'm kind of busy? Tell us what you saw too, please? Nice try, honey, but I wasn't born yesterday. I'm a witness, and that means I'm on the side of justice, and that means the cops. I'd sooner eat the south side of a northbound skunk than tell you. Lotta! Don't let it get your skivvies in a bunch. Friends today, enemies tomorrow. Or was that the other way around? No matter. I'm gone. Hey, maybe they'll let me do some testifying. Hot darn! She left. Well, that's one more witness. What do we do now, Nick? Well, if she saw something, there's not much we can do about it. The question is, what exactly did she see? Guess we'll find out in the trial tomorrow. Okay, a lake photo taken automatically on the 25th at 12:15 a.m. Well, I guess that's the time of the murder. Looks like the police have given up their interviewing. Hey! Nick! I think Santa's mad at you. Long time no see, Nick! Nick, you know Santa? Wow, Nick and Saint Nick. Hey, I see the connection. Don't be ridiculous. Dude, it's me! Larry? What are you doing here? Isn't it obvious? I'm working my day job. Sell samurai dogs. Want one? Gotta get money for dates, you know. My girl Kianse deserves the best. Kianse? Not another model, I hope. Oh, Kianse's a fine, fine woman, Nick. It was her idea that I wear this costume. She was all, you go, girlfriend, you know? She bought this costume for me. That's great, Larry. Wow, a Santa costume. She must be really nice. Whoa, cute. Nick, who's she? She's not your... Not my... No, she's not. I'm his partner, Maya Faye. I'm, the little sister. Sister? He does actually talk about her... I think he calls her Mayuri-chan. It's a relatively informal, familiar form of address. Basically, when all of the members of the Faye family, aside from Mia, he tends to refer to as if they're like family friends. So when there's a younger cousin that pops up, he calls her Harumi-chan. So yeah, they're all pretty close. You can also call your girlfriend, whatever her name is, Chan, which is why Larry's asked. Larry's also just, you know, an idiot. Wow, Nick must be tough. Working 9 to 5, having to take care of a little sister? No, I'm not Nick's sister. I'm my older sister's little sister. Huh. That's right. Don't worry, Maya. He's not listening. What happened?
Hey Larry, there was a murder here last night. And since you work here, have you heard anything? Nick, you're wasting your time. Last night was Christmas Eve. He was with Fiancé, obviously. He wouldn't have been standing out here in the cold. Oof. Yeah, that whole Christmas is for lovers thing is why Larry is oof right now. I think what you just said caught him off guard, Maya. No, it's just, you know, Fiancé's not in town right now. She's in Hawaii on a photo shoot. A model. You knew it. Well, anyway, there was a murder here on the lake. The trial's tomorrow. Huh! Neat! The defendant is Edgeworth. Miles Edgeworth. Nick? Why would Larry know Edgeworth? Whoa, Nick! You don't mean that Miles Edgeworth. Old Edgy? Yeah, he's a murder suspect. Whoa! Murder? Huh? You know Mr. Edgeworth, Larry? Yeah, of course! Edgy was in the same class as us in grade school. Point out, when he says edgy here, he, like Naruhodo, he also calls Mitsurugi just Mitsurugi with no tag on it. This is Maya hearing this for the first time is super overly familiar and she wants to know what the hell. What? Tell me about the dogs. Huh? Oh, you mean the samurai dogs. Why are they samurai dogs? I mean, they kind of look gourd-shaped. Oh, well, originally they were gourd dogs. You know, like guard dogs. Ouch. The samurai thing was Kiance's idea. Oh, she's my woman, you know? She was all change the name and you go, girlfriend. She made me that banner. Man, kids can't get enough of those samurai dogs. Something about that just seems wrong. Oh, guess what? We're getting a ton of customers here at the lake, what with the big news. The big news? Yeah, Gordy! Gordy? Oh boy. So Mr. Edgeworth was your classmate, Larry? Yeah, Nick, him, and I used to hang out all the time. Wow, I never knew. Don't get me wrong, he's always been kind of a stick in the mud. Studying all the time, trying to be like father. Like his father? Oh yeah, Edgy's pop was a famous defense lawyer back in the day. Wow. Wait. You said defense lawyer? Yeah. Wait a second. But Mr. Edgeworth is a prosecuting attorney. What? Edgy's got a proboscis on his knee? No, he's a prosecuting attorney. That's like the total opposite of a defense lawyer. Huh. Go figure. He always used to talk about defending the weak who were unable to defend themselves. Man, he used to go on and on about man's duty to society and all that. What a bore. Mind you, when Larry says they went to school together, they were 8. So apparently Edgeworth has just always been like that. I wonder what changed his mind, though. Do you know, Nick? Nick? What's Gordy? Huh? You mean you don't know? It's here in this very lake. A giant, mysterious monster. Gordy! Monster? Yeah! Check it out! This is an article from yesterday's newspaper. There's a photo. Wow! It's really real! Giant life form appears in Gourd Lake. Nick, a monster! A real monster! Yeah. It's just a log or something, right? Hey, there's a quote here from the person who took the photo. Huh. What's this? I set the camera to automatic, and when we got into the frame, I heard a loud bang, like an explosion, followed by the sound of something slipping into the water.
Wish I could have seen it.
Would there be a sound like an explosion? Harry, could I borrow this article from you? Sure, no problem. That'll be $1 million.
1 million?
Grow up, Larry. Yeah, grow up, Larry is kind of the theme of every single one of Larry's appearances. He didn't really grow up, he just kind of got taller. Oh, back to the office. What is it? Oh, nothing. Just something's been bothering me. Could you show me that autopsy report once more?
Hey! I remember now. This guy. He's a lawyer that was at that office Mia worked at. I met him once when I went there to hang out with Sis.
That office? Wait. You mean Grossberg's office?
Hey, guy.
That was the last name I expected to come up. Just as a reminder, we met Marvin Grossberg in case 1-2, Turnabout Sisters. Mia was murdered by a man named Red White of Blue Corp, who was trying to blackmail a whole bunch of people in the political and entertainment sphere. Mia had been investigating him for a while, and when he tapped her phone and found out that she had some terrible incriminating evidence with her, he murdered her in an attempt to get it back. Phoenix encountered Marvin Grossberg in the course of the investigation. Mia apparently used to work at his law offices, and it turned out that Grossberg was also being blackmailed by Red White of Blue Corp. It wasn't the happiest of meetings. Grossberg is kind of spineless, but, you know, he seemed to want to do good even if he couldn't manage it. Maybe I should go talk to him. For old time's sake. Do you have anything to say? No, probably just go talk to Grossberg. Mind you, they never told us what Grossberg was being blackmailed over, and I don't think they ever do. You find out because there was a big painting hanging on the wall of his office that he seemed to prize immensely, and it magically transferred over to Blue Corp in the middle of our investigation. So, nobody really knows what Red White had on him, but it was evidently something fairly terrible. Ahem! That old familiar clearing of the throat. Aha! You're Mia's, something, are you not? I was her understudy, yes. Phoenix Wright. Aha! And you're Mia's, something too, are you not?
Her little sister, yes.
You've grown. You've come to look a lot like your sister, you know? Takes me back. The days of my youth. The scent of fresh lemon, you see. Mr. Grossberg, sir? Yes, I beg you. Of course you came here for something. What is it then? Something the matter? There was a murder last night. Murder? You haven't heard? Just got news. Well, Miles Edgeworth shot someone with a pistol. Edgeworth? What? Who did he shoot? Well, the identity of the victim is still unknown. This is just whole news indeed. I guess he hadn't heard anything. Mr. Grossberg? Whatever happened to that painting? Ah, yes! I do not think it shall ever be coming back home to this office.
exactly claim to stole them. Suppose it's my just desserts. Old bitter desserts. Alright, well. Let's see if you've got anything to say about this. Hmm? Strange. I feel as though I've seen this man somewhere before. Ah! Did you remember? He was a lawyer here in my office. It's Hammond. Robert Mr. Hammond. And you say this is the man Miles Edgeworth shot? Yes, we do say that, or at least it's the man someone shot. Who is this Hammond guy, anyway? Mr. Hammond. He's the defense attorney in that case. That case? Yes, the DL6 incident. DL6? Sounds so familiar. It sounds familiar because when you were going through Mia's files looking for evidence against Red White, that was one of the things that was noted. It was a case, I believe, in which the authorities used a spirit medium to help solve it. Perhaps you remember? I'm sure someone mentioned it during the trial for Mia's murder. That was the incident where the police were so at a loss they used a spirit medium. Wait, you don't mean... Was that medium my mother? Yes, yeah. The spirit medium Misty Fey, your mother, contacted the spirit of the victim. But the case was a loss. No conviction was made. The DL6 incident, yes, happened 15 years ago. A very strange case indeed. They never caught the criminal, right? Correct. Misty Fey used her powers to talk to the spirit of the late victim. Her testimony led to charges being laid against one man. Mr. Hammond won the case, and the suspect was declared innocent. Now, I think it is significant here that Grossberg says that Misty used her powers to contact the spirit of the victim. There wasn't a proper interview. When Maya channels Mia, Mia just shows up and talks to Phoenix at the defense bench. Yeah, nobody seems to notice. But, you know, whatever. Nobody expects a dead woman to be standing behind the defense table. But in this case, it seems that Misty contacted the spirit of the victim rather than bringing the victim forth. So, I have my suspicions that some of the testimony was either slightly garbled coming in from the afterlife, or that the police kind of misconstrued it, because, you know, obviously they lost the case. And the police blamed my mother. Well, you're a fraud. You were the one who helped her out then, right, Mr. Grossberg? Yes. Thank you. No, please, don't mention it. DL6. Never thought I'd hear that name again. But wait, what does that case have anything to do with Mr. Edgeworth? It has everything to do with Mr. Edgeworth, my dear. The victim in the DL6 incident was none other than his father, Gregory Edgeworth. What? His father? If you want to know more, you should ask him yourself. Show him this. I'm sure he'll talk to you. Wait. This is a photo of my mother. Welp. I guess we get to go talk to Edgeworth again, whether he likes it or not. Hey! Hello, Valve's BTW. Is that Valve is in, the game company? Or do you just have a thing for plumbing? I mean, either one is fine. Welcome to my playthrough of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. This is like the bazillionth time I've played the game, so I'm going through it on Twitch for everyone else with a whole bunch of Japanese cultural and language notes, because the writing is fairly complicated. It's kind of neat, and it's great practice for my actual language skills. Currently we're on case 1-4 Turnabout Goodbyes. We just found out that the victim in this case is connected to a previous case, DL6, and that Maya's mother, Misty, was the spirit medium that infamously channeled the spirit of the victim, who happened to be Edgeworth's father. Let's go see what Edgeworth has to say about all this. What's this? I was hoping you'd gotten my message the first time. Edgeworth, what about your defense? It's no concern of yours. Guess he hasn't found anyone yet. Well, Edgeworth, what do you have to say about DL6? Because that seems to be important, seeing as the victim in this case was the defense lawyer that got the suspect in your father's murder off. Edgeworth? It's only been a matter of hours since you last visited, yet you've made incredible progress in your investigation. Admit it? I'm impressed, Wright. You were always single-minded in your work, though. Once you start on something, you always see it through, don't you? About the DL6 incident. DL6. I didn't want you to find out it. That is why I refused your offer to defend. I'm sorry if it sounded like I thought you weren't up to the job. I just wanted to keep you away from DL6. So, do you still think it would have been better for me to stay away? I don't know. But I see no point in hiding anything from you now. Very well. Ask whatever you like, and I will answer to the best of my abilities. Well, this is going to be a deeply uncomfortable conversation, I can already tell. The DL6 incident was when my father died. Right before my eyes. I think it's sort of right before his eyes. His memory's not as great as he thinks. He was shot and killed, and I saw it with my memories from that time are... I suppose it's a self-defense mechanism. In any case, suspect was arrested. A man. It's pretty clear he was the only one who could have killed my father. The spirit medium they used to talk to my late father said the same thing. It was an attorney by the name of Robert Hammond that cleared the suspects. And Hammond is the victim in the Ford Lake murder? Correct. That spirit medium was my mom. You mean your... It's strange. I thought that terrible incident was about to end, and now... this. About to end? The DL6 incident happened 15 years ago. 15 years ago, on December 28th. December 28th? The statute of limitations on the case runs out in 3 days. Note here, this game is based on kind of a broad caricature of the Japanese legal system, in which there was, I think it's been changed, but at one point there was indeed a statute of limitations on murder. And I'm pretty sure it was 15 years. As far as I know, there is not currently a statute of limitations on actual murder charges in any of the 50 US states. Which is distinct from manslaughter. Murder is basically... murder involves premeditation. You meant to kill somebody, and that has no statute of limitations in any state that I know of. I think there are a few states where some of the lower grades of manslaughter, which is when you kill someone without specifically intending to kill them, but it was definitely your fault, they might have a pretty long statute of limitations, 15 or 25 years. But in any case, yes, the statute of limitations did exist in the Japanese legal system. I think it's not there anymore, but I don't exactly follow Japanese law, so you'd have to check that. But yeah, this is definitely a thing in the world this game comes. What? Nick, what does that mean? When a case's statute of limitations runs out legally, the case never happened. Not technically true. I think you can bring it up in court later as a pattern of behavior thing, but after the statute of limitations runs out, you can't charge it. Like, there's statutes of limitations on things like theft. I think one particularly infamous case, at some point the statute of limitations will run out on, like, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum theft, and I assume at that point the paintings will probably come to light. But yeah, it exists for a lot of crimes, just not for murder in the US. 3 days from now, DL6 will be closed. Forever. What happened to the suspect? The one who got off innocent? I don't know. He disappeared from public view. Nobody knows where to. If he's still alive, he'd be about 50 years old then. I guess I can understand why he'd go into hiding. It'd be hard to live a normal life after being a murder suspect in such a big case. Yeah, the DL6 incident was big, apparently in the news big. Part of what Wright did was he gathered horrible information and disseminated it to the public. And evidently one of the things he made public was Misty Faye's involvement in DL6. The police were ridiculed for using the spirit medium, especially after it turned out she didn't give them enough information to successfully prosecute the case. So evidently this was a very big case, it was very much in the news. Gregory Edgeworth was a very prominent defense attorney, and so his murder was, like, front page article kind of stuff. So was your father a lawyer? He was. Gregory Edgeworth. He was quite famous at the time. So you were sort of trying to follow in his footsteps? I'd rather not talk. Okie dokie. Well. Who would have thought there'd be a conflict? Edgeworth, did you shoot him? Do you think right? I don't think you're the kind to point a gun at anyone, no. So you didn't shoot him? No, I didn't. Wasn't me. Right. It pains me to ask you this now. I know. You want us to defend you. Yes. Will you? Oh, who could have guessed this day would have come? Not me. This is my chance to finally pay you back. Pay him back? Me back? For what? I don't remember ever doing anything for you. Never mind. I guess you don't really need to know. Huh. My letter of request. Please give it to Detective Gumshoe. Well, I guess we should... What's that? Earthquake! Nick! It's a big one! What? What's coming down? Ooh, that was scary. Notably, this is why the localization was set in, I think technically it's Los Angeles? Somewhere in California. Honestly, if you've ever been to California, the idea that there's a village of Japanese spirit medium hippie people a few hours away in NoCal is pretty plausible. Anyway, the courtroom scenes are supposed to take place somewhere around Los Angeles, or at least in this alternate universe variation of Los Angeles. Hence, right. Huh? Where's Edgeworth? Oh, there.
He's on the floor in a ball, shivering. I guess he doesn't do so well with earthquakes. I could have running, but curling up in a ball. Well, I guess we're done. Mr. Edgeworth doesn't seem like he's gonna stand up anytime soon. Let's go, Nick. Right. We have to give Edgeworth letter of request to Detective Gumshoe. Alright. What's going on here? What's wrong, Detective? This wild lady comes in here just a while ago. Says she came to talk to y'all after hearing what Mr. Wright had to say? What's this all about, pal? Lot of heart. Why are you going around finding more witnesses? You want to give Mr. Edgeworth a death sentence, pal? No, not at all. Just, I mean, she did see something. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't go around covering up evidence. You trying to say something about the way I do my job? No, sir. So, what did Ms. Hart say? She says she saw Mr. Edgeworth fire the pistol. What? She even had a photograph to prove it. Right, I saw it too. But you really can't tell from the photo who it is shooting. That's why she said she's going to enlarge the photo. She said it'll drop the quality of Mike, but it should let us see who's who. She can do that? Okay, so there's going to be an enlarged photo that shows Edgeworth in the act. Great. Just great. In any case, she's gonna be the one to testify tomorrow. Huh? Well, what happened to the other witness? Well, apparently there was a cancellation. A cancellation? I'm afraid tomorrow is gonna be life or death for poor Mr. Edgeworth. We got a witness who says she saw the very moment of the murder. And we got a photo taken when the shot rang out. I'd say that sounds like a pretty unwinnable case. But wait, what did Mia used to say? If he's innocent, there's gotta be something I've overlooked. Sounds like Mr. Edgeworth is gonna ask the state to assign a public defender. I was just asked to file the paperwork. You still got time, pal. Go talk to him again, for me, please. You have to convince him. You have to make him let you defend him, please. I know you're the only one who can do it, pal. You're the only one who can save Mr. Edgeworth. We did finally convince him. Look what I got. Hey, you did it, pal! Glad I waited till the last minute to file those papers. I'll rip them up and start new ones for you. Thanks, Detective. Well, see you in court tomorrow. Good luck, pal. Hey, you guys feel that earthquake a little while back? I was worried. Worried? You're fine. I've lived out here my whole life. I'm pretty used to them by now. Oh, I wasn't worried about you two. I was worried about Mr. Edgeworth. Alright. He did seem to overreact a little now that you mention it. I would like to point out here that Phoenix is really sanguine about all of the odd things Edgeworth does. This is the only one he has so much as commented on being weird. The implication, which is actually kind of confirmed in later games when you learn a little bit more about it, is that Edgeworth has just always kind of been this serious and grumpy and awkward. It's... if you think about it, Phoenix is remarkably calm about basically everything except the earthquakes thing. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. It was a pretty big quake. I'm gonna go check on him. You two go eat and get your rest for tomorrow's trial. Later! I wonder what it is with Mr. Edgeworth and earthquakes. I wonder. He was never that scared of them when he was in school. And again, I really got to know him in 4th grade. He transferred to another school after that. I wonder what happened to Edgeworth. To be continued. I'm gonna save progress right here. And take a brief break. Get myself a drink, maybe a couple of snacks. I will probably in, no, 5-10 minutes. See you on the other side. Alright, welcome back everybody. I have gotten a drink, a piece of my own, and fed the rats some freeze-dried peas and Gerber cereal puffs, which are two of their favorite things. Notably healthy for them, but they don't know that, so nobody tell them. Off we go into day one of Edgeworth's murder trial. Hooray! December 26, 9:44 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Karma? That's right, Manfred von Karma. He's the best prosecutor there is. He hasn't lost a case in his 40-year career. He is a god of prosecution, right? A god. Not a single case? He'll do anything to get a guilty verdict. Anything. Huh. Sounds like someone else I know, Edgeworth. You don't understand. I mean, he'll really do anything. Manfred von Karma is a man to be feared. That's quite a claim coming from someone who forges evidence. He taught me what it really means to prosecute. What? Just picture a prosecutor as vicious as me, multiplied by a factor of 10. So, was he your teacher then, Mr. Edward? Something like that. And now he's trying to get you found guilty? What a creep. Oh wait. Maybe he's planning on losing on purpose to help you out. Not a chance. He hasn't lost once in 40 years. 40 years. He's as ruthless as me times 20. It's pretty ruthless. Like I said, he is a god among prosecutors. I guess that's something like Mia was to me. Speaking of Mia. Maya? Uh-huh. We could really be using Mia's help right now, don't you think? Oh. I can't. Sorry. I really tried, but I couldn't reach. You couldn't reach? I think it's because I haven't been training. My powers are weak again. Oh man, what bad timing. I'm really sorry. I'll try my best. I hope so. What are you whispering about? It's nothing. Well, it's time. Let's head in. Here we go. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Miles Edgeworth. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Mr. Von Karma, is the prosecution ready? Fool. You seriously think that I would stand here were I not completely prepared? Right. My apology. He's even got the judge scared. Very well, your opening statement, please. Decisive evidence. A decisive witness. What else could possibly be required? Nothing, of course. That should be fine. Prosecution may call its first witness. What's with this guy? Is he royalty or something? How am I supposed to fight against this? I call the detective in charge of this case, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Okay, Gumshoe's first. Let's see how this goes. describe the incident now. Yeah. Yes, sir. Detective Gumshoe looks nervous. Please take a look at the map. The murder happened late Christmas Eve around midnight. There was one boat in the very middle of the lake. There were 2 men on the boat. Now there happened to be a woman camping here on the edge of the lake. At 12:10 a.m. she heard 2 pistol shots, and the boat started to move. It went towards the boat rental shop. Okay, map added to the court record. Testify to the court about the arrest. Now! Wait, Mr. Von Karma. Yes. Actually, I'm the one that's supposed to be handling these proceedings. Wrong. There is only one thing you need to do here. You will slam down your gavel and say the word guilty. That is your role. Yes, yes, of course, you're quite right. No, he is not! The man called into the station around 30 minutes after midnight. We headed to the scene of the crime as fast as we could. That's where we found Mr. Edgeworth. Now, I didn't suspect him of anything at all. But, the next morning a body was found in the lake. So we had to arrest Mr. Edgeworth. I see. Very well. Begin your cross-examination, attorney. Now. Alright. The arrest of Edgeworth. Let's see. Let's hear more about this body. Did you find any clues on the body? A single bullet was recovered from the body. He was shot through the heart, fatally. Judge, here's the bullet. It didn't strike bone, so its shape is well preserved. Very well, the court accepts this bullet into evidence. So how does that mean you needed to arrest it? Why is that? Well, we found the murder weapon in the boat. The murder weapon? A pistol. Detective Gumshoe, that is a vital piece of information. Please revise your testimony. Right. Sorry, Your Honor. The murder weapon we found on the boat was decisive evidence. What about the pistol made it decisive evidence? He has the same evil laugh as Edgeworth. There were fingerprints on the pistol found in the boat. They were clear prints from Mr. Edgeworth's right hand. Order! Order! So Mr. Edgeworth's fingerprints were found on the murder weapon. Yes, Your Honor. Judge, this is the weapon in question. Accepted into evidence. Members of the court. We now have the pistol used in the murder and the bullet found in the body. Detective! Yes, sir? Was the bullet found in the body fired from this pistol? Yes. The ballistic markings on the bullet match the pistol. Hey, Nick. What does he mean, ballistic markings?
to imagine someone here does not know something as basic as ballistic markings.
He's glaring at me.
Very well, I'll explain. Actually, Judge, you do it.
Me?
Ballistic markings are like the fingerprints of a gun. The barrel leaves distinctive marks on each bullet it fires. You can examine these ballistic fingerprints to see which gun fired the shot. It's quite accurate. Indeed.
In real life, it's...
I don't know. In some circumstances, it can be quite accurate. The problem is that firing a bullet is inherently destructive to everything on the bullet's surface. When you first hit the round, there are no scratches on the outside, and it acquires a spiral groove as it spins down the interior of the gun barrel. Whether those scratches and grooves are preserved kind of depends on what kind of bullet it is, what it's made out of, what it hits in its travel. Any kind of bullet that hits a very solid object like bone or concrete or something like that, the bullet will deform and there's really no ballistic markings to be retrieved. You can also pull markings off of the casing. The casing retains an impression of the firing pin from the pistol, which can be microscopically matched. It is a lot like fingerprinting, as they mention, in that the markings are either consistent with or not consistent with a particular gun. It's more definite to rule out a particular gun as a source of a bullet than it is to rule it in, especially if the bullet has sustained any kind of damage by going through basically anything that isn't very soft. In this case, a bullet that actually hits someone in the heart would have to be very, very small to not hit any bone, because you'd be going through the ribcage. Like, the conceit of this case is that the ballistic markings on the bullet are in fact accurate, and it does in fact come from the gun that was found in the bottom of the boat that now has, unfortunately, Edgeworth's fingerprints all over it. But in real life, that wouldn't actually happen. A bullet fired straight into the heart would hit ribs, it would shatter bones, it would be significantly deformed, particularly if it's, I think, as small a caliber as this pistol was. How big is the pistol? It's a 22 caliber pistol, so the rounds are very, very small, and the pistol is relatively low powered. It'd be really difficult to get a shot into the heart. Like, a 22 caliber round is not large and does not have a lot of power behind it. It must have been just dumb luck that it went in between ribs, because if it had hit bone in any place, it probably would have been deflected. 22 caliber rounds that hit bone tend to be found lodged under the skin rather than actually hitting anything important. You have to kind of get somebody in, like, the gut or the kidney to do any significant damage, or a relatively thin spot in the skull from a muzzle pressed right up against there. Like, this was dumb luck. Edgeworth's bad luck, but dumb luck. A 22 caliber would normally not do that kind of damage. This leads to one inevitable conclusion. The bullet found in the victim's heart was, without a doubt, fired from this pistol. This pistol, which, as you may recall, was covered with the defendant's own fingerprints. Order! Order! This is bad. This makes it look like Edgeworth did it. Well, Judge? Say it's almost decisive, yes. Honestly, I could declare a verdict at this point. However, you wish to hear the witness speak, no doubt. Very well. I am somewhat fatigued, and so I will take a brief break. I will call my witness after the recess, which will last 10 minutes. Judge! Yes? What are you doing? A 10-minute recess. Now. Well, wait, Just bang your flimsy gavel and get on with it, man. Yes. Ahem. The court will take a 10-minute recess. Who's running this court anyway? Literally, we've been in court for an hour. Edgeworth, what's going on here? Your fingerprints were on the murder weapon. And that foggy photo makes one thing clear. The only one who could have shot that man was the person in the photo. True.
Was that you in the boat? Yes, it was me. But you must believe me, I didn't shoot him. Then who did? I don't know. You don't know? Weren't you right there? I heard a gunshot from very close by. Then the other man fell from the boat. Can't say why, but I thought at the time that he had shot himself. You mean it was a suicide? That's the only explanation I can think of. Huh. How am I going to convince anyone of that? Say, Maya... Huh? What? Any progress with Mia? Oh... Sorry. It's no good. Ugh. I know. I'm no good at anything, am I, Nick? I can't call my sister. I might as well be here, right? Let's be nice. No, of course not. I need you here. I can see you're always trying to help out. Even if you don't actually help, it's a thought that counts, right? It's okay, Nick. You don't have to make me feel better. I don't know anything about child's or defense. It's more, I'm a spirit medium who can't even contact spirits. Oh, everyone has their off days. I mean, I've just been getting lucky lately. But you never know when my luck is gonna run out. Really? Whoa! Right! Don't jinx this case any more than it already is. It's bad for my heart. Sorry. Oops. Court is back in session. Mr. Von Karma, call your witness. Yes. Will Ms. Lotta Hart take the stand? Lotta Hart, you are a research student at a university. That I am. Good. Begin by telling us what you saw the night of the incident. And don't add anything trivial or subjective. Understand? Y'all need to learn some manners. Understand? Yeah, I understand. Very well. Your testimony, please? It was Christmas Eve, just after midnight, I reckon. I was in my car. I heard this bang come up from the lake. When I looked out the window, I saw two gents in a boat. Then there was another bang. There wasn't anything on the lake but that boat. Enough. Huh? Judge. She happened to take a photo of the incident. This is that photo. Accept it as evidence. Well, this is a surprise. This looks like the very moment of the murder. Order! I will remove people from this courtroom if I do not have order immediately. As the witness testified, she looked at the lake when she heard the shot. There were no other boats on that lake. So, the man in the boat with the victim must have been the one who shot him. Yes, it was the defendant, Miles Edgeworth. Order! 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 I will have order. Well, Judge? The evidence is decisive. I have very little doubt about this case. Very well, this court finds the defendant. Wait! Your Honor! I haven't cross-examined the witness yet. cross-examination. We have photographic proof. What question can there possibly be? This photo is worth 1,000 words, and they all read guilty. You lose. Or, do you claim to have found a contradiction in her testimony? Very well. If you have to, you may cross-examine the witness. You will only flounder and ask meaningless questions. You will fail to find anything. And then I will have you held in contempt of court. Nick, contempt? Contempt of court, you know? I guess I understand. A contempt of court charge, in the modern American system, a contempt of court charge is basically an attorney has behaved, well, anyone, not just the attorneys, has behaved so obnoxiously in court that they need to be thrown out and possibly jailed. Contempt of court citations can be issued for actual behavior in the courtroom, for badgering a witness after the judge has told you to stop that, for overrunning the other attorney, for speaking out of turn. It can also be issued to witnesses for refusing to provide information. Sometimes it escalates to an obstruction of justice. Contempt of court is basically the judge is annoyed and puts you in timeout. Lawyers who are issued contempt citations are typically also fined because money makes them pay attention. Well, what are you gonna do? Do you really think there was a contradiction with the facts in her testimony? There was, I think, because she mentioned 2 bang sounds. Well, first of all, we only know about 1 gunshot, and second of all, shouldn't her camera have gone off twice? I think I noticed one little thing. Oh, I'm impressed, Nick. I didn't notice anything. Let's take him on. Yeah, I've got a bad feeling about this. I understand. I will cross-examine the witness. Very well. I pray for your sake this isn't a waste of time. Yes, it was Christmas Eve, and it was just after midnight. You're in your car. Why were you in the car? Why were you camping there anyway? I'm a research student at my university. I was taking pictures to use in my research. Research? This all sounds suspicious. Miss Hart, could you be more specific about your research? What does the witness's motive in camping by the lake have to do with this case? The answer is nothing. I object to this line of questioning. Objection sustained. Well, wait now, I'm the one who says that. Well then, say it already. Objection sustained. Thanks for nothing, Your Honor. I heard this bang come up from the lake. So you weren't looking at the lake at the time? Nope. I looked after I heard that noise. She said that already. I asked you to find contradictions, not leisurely chat with the witness. When I looked out the window, I saw 2 gents in a boat. Could you clearly see the 2 men? Just look at the picture. Clear enough for you? Uh-oh. Wait a second. I wasn't asking you about the photo. I was asking if you saw the 2 men. Yeah, well, of course. The witness has testified that she saw them. There's also a photo. You'd best look elsewhere for your precious contradictions. He jumped in quick. He's hiding something. Were you watching the very moment the shot rang out? Yeah, sure. You're asking meaningless questions. Meaningless. Contradictions, Mr. Wright, not meaningless babble. On karma, I think I hate you. He's trying to keep me from talking to the witness. To what end? Are you sure about that? Yeah, sure as a country gal can be. Sounds pretty sure. How come you're so sure? Well, heck, I scanned the whole lake. Scanned the whole lake? It almost sounds like she was more interested in the lake than the boat. Miss Hart, you... Mr. Wright, the witness has answered the question in full. No need for further questions. Objection sustained. That's what I'm... Sustained! Yes, of course. Oh, great. Enough. I think we've heard all we need to, Mr. Wright. It seems you're unable to find a contradiction in the testimony worth noting. But, Your Honor, you keep your promise. Mr. Wright, I'm afraid that I'll have to penalize any further outbursts by holding you in contempt of court. And if that happens, you'll have to leave the courtroom immediately. Understood?
Nick. This testimony is fishy, Nick. Real fishy.
I know what you mean. But if I can't say anything, what can I do? I believe we've covered the evidence sufficiently to make a decision. Then pass your judgment. Very well. Mr. Miles Edgeworth, please take the stand. Who was that?
It was me.
Is something wrong? Do you need to use the facilities?
No, I do not. Lotta Hart, your testimony stinks. It's unclear whether you were actually looking at the lake. It's highly doubtful that you actually saw Mr. Edgeworth. Tell us the truth. This is a matter of life or death.
It actually kind of is. It's not stated outright, but it's pretty heavily implied that all of these essentially first-degree murder cases that Phoenix is handling are capital cases. Later in the series, it is outright stated that somebody who was found guilty of first-degree murder was actually executed, so presumably it is a possibility here for Edgeworth, and, you know, they'd like to avoid that.
Lotta, did you really clearly see Mr. Edgeworth that night? Did you see him fire that pistol?
You will stand down. The court does not acknowledge the defense's outburst.
Answer me, Lotta. What's the big idea treating me like some kind of criminal? So I must swear it. I saw Edgeworth.
Enough! Judge, declare the defense in contempt of court. Yes, of course. I'm sorry, but you were warned. Guard, escort Mr. Wright out of the courtroom. He's in contempt of court and must leave. No.
Wait! I was the one who made the outburst, Your Honor. Nick is innocent.
Ah. What's the difference? All that remains is for the guilty verdict to be declared. Isn't that right, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Wrong! Did you hear what Miss Hart just said? She said she clearly saw Mr. Edgeworth. That was not in the testimony. That changes her testimony, and I have a right to cross-examine her again. Order! 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 You're in contempt of court. It's too late for wild claims. Judge, sustain my objection. I'm sorry, Mr. Von Karma, but I cannot. What? Ms. Lotta Hart has made a new testimony. The defense does have a right to cross-examine her again. But he is in contempt of court. No, I am. If you're gonna arrest somebody, arrest me. Very well. Maya Fey, you will leave the courtroom immediately. Nick, I did what I could. You have to do the rest. Good luck. Maya. I care not for this melodrama. Listen well, Mr. Wright. I do not tolerate badgering of my witnesses. Running out of time. Better find a contradiction in here or else. Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination. Saw it clear as day. The man on the boat was Mr. Edgeworth. That's it? Uh-oh. I don't know if I can find anything in there. And I can't squander Maya's efforts either. I mean, he said it was foggy, and here's a photo that proves it. Got you. Got you, Ms. Hart. Finally. What? You got what? Look at this photograph. Photo what? The very same. There's something I want you to see in this photo. It's quite clearly visible. The fog, Miss Hart. So? So? This picture was taken with professional quality film, correct? Yet even it could not capture the faces of the men on the boat. Yet you claim you saw Mr. Edgeworth. How? What? What? Mr. Wright has a point. That's why I told her not to say that in her testimony, please. Yet now she has said it, Mr. Von Karma. How could you possibly see Mr. Edgeworth? Explain yourself. Ms. Hart. What? Could you see the defendant that night? Of course. I said I could and I meant I could. Then please testify as to the circumstances of your sighting. Did it. I finally found a hole in Von Karma's carefully vague testimony. You're right. It was a cold night and the fog was thick as grits. So once I was finished setting up my camera, I got back in the car. Still, I brought my binoculars with me. When I heard that noise out on the lake, I looked at my binoculars. See? No problem. You used binoculars? Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. This one better be good. Binoculars? Yeah, binoculars! Yesterday you mentioned that you were out looking for shooting stars, correct? Well, yeah. Wouldn't you need a telescope, not binoculars for that? I've got doubts about your camera, too. Was that really to take pictures of meteor showers? The camera is irrelevant to this case. You can't say that for certain. Mr. Wright. Is the camera really relevant to this case? If you believe it is, you may continue with this line of questioning. But know this! If you find nothing with this, there will be consequences. Well, Mr. Wright? Do you wish to press further about the camera? Yes. This is make it or break it time. The camera is of utmost importance, Your Honor. It is perhaps the key to this entire case. Therefore, I will continue this line of questioning. Maybe I went overboard there. Very well. Ms. Hart, you will testify to the court about the camera. Yeah, I hear ya. camera was set up to take pictures of a meteor shower. Miss Hart, what made you choose that lake to photograph meteors? You know the fog gets thick on that lake. It's not very suited to stargazing. Yeah, well, you see, I guess I wasn't thinking too straight. Ha! Mr. Wright, I will not have you badgering my witness because of her challenged intellect. Now wait a minute! Continue your testimony. You were saying how it was that you saw Edgeworth? No unnecessary comments, please. Meteor showers, huh? I'm not pointing at the lake then. You were photographing shooting stars? That's a lie. So, take a look at this photograph. This was taken on an automatic setting, was it not? Yeah, that's right. You have to point a camera upwards to take photos of the stars, Ms. Hart. But as this photograph clearly shows, the camera was pointed directly at the lake. Oof. Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? The witness was not at the lake to photograph shooting stars, Your Honor. Well then, what exactly was she photographing? Your Honor, take a look at this. What was Ms. Hart trying to photograph at the lake? Ms. Hart, this is what you were trying to photograph. What's this? A newspaper article? Gordy. Ah, the sighting at Gord Lake. Well, Ms. Hart? I never heard no lake monster. You got proof or something? Let's see you prove that I was down at the lake trying to photograph this Gordy. I have it. Proof. Huh? Intriguing. Very well, let's see it. And no joking around this time, please. What is proof that the witness was trying to photograph Gordy, the lake monster? The proof, Ms. Hart, is your own camera. Your camera was set to take photos in response to loud noises, correct? Thus, this photograph here, taken when a gun fired on the lake. And here, this article about Gordy. According to this article, Gordy made loud noise when it emerged. Well, you were trying to photograph Gordy, weren't you? That's why you had set your camera to respond to loud noises. Order! Order! I see. I too thought it was a little strange. Yes. Well, Miss Hart? You were camping there to try and take a photo of Gordy, weren't you? Yeah. Bad. Are all you lawyers that smart? So smart, boy. I was down there trying to photograph Gordy. You got me. So what? Huh? That don't change what I saw, does it? Exactly. What you just used several precious minutes of our time to prove is nothing more than that the witness is an idiot who thinks monsters exist. Hey! But, as she so succinctly said, so what? It changes nothing. Not true. You were hiding the whole thing about Gordy for some reason, I know it. But what could it have been? Whatever it is, I'm getting to the bottom of this. Ms. Hart, why did you hide the fact that you were searching for Gordy from the court? Please revise your testimony. Right. Fine, I'll testify. You won't change nothing, though. Something will change. It has to. I'm gonna spot. Actually, I'm not a research student at a university. I'm an investigative photographer. Imagine what a scoop it'd be if I got a picture of that monster. That's why I was camping out by the lake. But that's all I was hiding. When I heard the bang, I looked right straight out of that lake. There wasn't much else to look at, so I just watched the boat the whole time. Then I saw a flash near one of the men's hands, and I heard another gunshot. I was looking right at that boat the whole time, crossed my heart and hoped to cry. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. The witness's testimony is unchanged from before. Whether she is a research student or a photographer has no bearing on this case. There is no need to waste more of our time with another pointless cross-examination. I claim the defense's right to cross-examine the witness, Your Honor. Our time is up, just I know it. He doesn't want me to cross-examine her because... why? Was there a contradiction? Very well. You may begin the cross-examination. You seem sure of yourself. You must have something in mind. Spoilers! Phoenix has nothing in mind. Phoenix lives and dies on the indie ploy. He just does stuff and somehow it works out. Ha! That would be a first. Haha, very funny. You understand that this is your last chance at a cross-examination, Mr. Wright? If there's no problem with the testimony this time, we will let the witness leave. I will announce my verdict at that time, Mr. Wright. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Okay. Now pressing this doesn't get you anywhere in the case, but there's actually an achievement in the Steam release of the trilogy here. If you press this, I'm an investigative photographer. An investigative photographer? Yep. You get your photo and you sell it to the press. It's that kind of business. Hey, I was taking pictures at my sister's graduation last year. And guess what? What? There was a UFO just hanging in the sky. A UFO? You know, an unidentified flying object. A UFO. That's when I had sort of a revelation. I knew I should become an investigative photographer. I see. Kind of a shaky basis for... Anyway, you get an achievement for that if you're playing on Steam, which is what I'm playing on right now. Let's see. Well, you heard the bang, you looked out in the lake, and you watched the boat? Wasn't what you were out there to search for, was it though? Ms. Hart, were you really looking at that boat? Well, what's with you? Of course I was looking at it. It was the only thing out there. Any normal person be looking at it. I agree, any normal person would. But you are far from normal. What? Y'all want to step over here and say that? You were camping at the lake to take a picture of Gordy. Think about it. What would you do if you heard a loud noise? You'd be scanning the lake for any sign of Gordy, that's what. You wouldn't give the boat a second thought. Ah. Order! Continue, Mr. Wright. You testified that you were watching the boat through binoculars. However, you wouldn't need binoculars to watch that boat. You needed them to search for Gordy, and that's what you were doing. Well, now that y'all mention it, I did sort of take my binoculars and kind of scan the lake a bit. I mean, Gordy might be off there and all. Ms. Hart, are you saying that you were not watching the boat then? Sorry, y'all. I wasn't fibbing, really. I was just, you know, I could be a witness to a murder and all. Kinda got excited. I was sure I was watching that boat. Till now. This is totally uncalled for. But hey! You got the photograph. You got proof. Still, we can't see who is shooting who in this. Right. That's why I took the photo. Witness, that's enough. You've had a long day. Shut your pie hole. Shut my what? What was she going to say? She took the photo and... what? Oh, wait a second. She even had a photograph to prove it. But you really can't tell from the photo who's shooting. That's why she said she's going to enlarge the photo. She said it'll drop the quality a mite, but should let us see who's who. She enlarged that photo. Why won't Von Karma let her shoot it? Oh, I've got a hunch. I bet that enlarged photo shows something bad for Von Karma. This is my chance. If I'm wrong, though, it'll mean prison for Edgeworth. Or worse. What should I do? Hell, I mean, we're already kind of stuck, so... Ms. Hart, look at this photograph. You enlarged this photograph, did you not? Yeah, I did. Why has that enlargement not been presented to the court? Because it does not exist. What are y'all talking about? You were the one who told me not to show it in court in the first place. You old fool. What's the meaning of this, Mr. Von Karma? Ms. Hart, show the photo to the court. Show us the enlargement. The prosecution objects to the submission of this evidence. Objection denied. The witness will show the enlargement to the court. Here it is. We still cannot see who's firing in this. It could be the defendant, or maybe it's not. Regardless, I'll accept this as evidence. Lake photo added to the court. Happy now, Mr. Wright. There has to be something. You asked for the enlargement, you got the enlargement. And little good it has done any of us. That's why I requested she not show it. I suppose this means the cross-examination is over, obviously. Then I would like to close the cross-examination of Ms. Lotta Hart. And none too soon. That was a flagrant waste of my time. Mr. Von Karma, do you have anything to add? I stated everything I needed to when this trial began. Decisive evidence, a decisive witness. What else could possibly be required? Nothing, of course. Then I believe it is time for me to declare my verdict. Wait, it's not supposed to go like this. There has to be a clue in this photo. Somewhere. This is bad. Real bad. What do I do? Your Honor, there's something decidedly strange with this enlargement. What might that be? Mr. Wright, you will show the court what you mean. What about this photo is strange? Okay, here goes nothing. I'll show the judge what's strange about this photo. What's strange about this photo is, in fact... Here, Your Honor. The shooter? I'm not sure I understand. What about the shooter is strange? Look at the hand holding the pistol, Your Honor. The hand? That hand directly contradicts another piece of evidence. This man's left hand does what? Let me show you. I'll show you the evidence that left hand contradicts. The evidence is clear. The man in this photograph is holding that pistol in his left hand. However, the prints on the murder weapon were for Edgeworth's right hand. Ergo, the man shooting the pistol in this photograph is not Mr. Edgeworth. Now that everyone in the courtroom has quieted down, I would like to reconvene this court of law. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? You have given us definitive proof today. We now know that it was not Mr. Edgeworth who fired the pistol that night. However, this leaves us with a rather large problem. If Mr. Edgeworth didn't do it, then who shot our victim? Precisely. As we've seen, there were no other people on the lake that night. Who but the defendant could have shot the victim? There's only one explanation remaining. The man who shot the victim was none other than the victim himself. Order! Order! So, you are saying that the victim committed suicide? Yes, Your Honor. I can think of no other explanation. Indeed, that does seem to be the only remaining option. I'm so very, very sorry, Mr. But suicide is out of the question. What? An examination of the victim's wound reveals the distance at which he was shot. The distance? The victim was clearly shot from further than a meter away. This is actually something that you can tell from examination of a gunshot wound, at least in many circumstances. A gun that's held closer than about a meter away will leave what's called powder burns, or powder stippling around the wound, where little particles of unburned gunpowder that come out with the round will embed themselves into the surface around it. It's particularly, like, things like skin or ballistic gelatin are particularly susceptible to it, so a gun that was fired from, I don't know, maybe a foot away would leave significant powder burns around the wound. A contact wound, as would be expected from most suicides, is different still, especially if it's going through some amount of soft tissue, as it would if it were going directly into the heart. Not only are there powder burns and stippling around the wound, but that the explosion of air that comes out with the round presses a shockwave through the skin, and because it's easier for it to come back out towards the gun than to go through the rib cage, there's an extra sort of blowback effect. So you can tell a contact wound from a close quarters wound from a yard away. Farther than that, there's generally no signs of powder burns, so it gets more iffy trying to think about how far away the shot was fired from, but this is definitely something that forensics can, in fact, show you. A meter? That's 3 feet! About 3 feet 3 inches anyway, but there is no way it could have been suicide. And this has actually been used in some cases to prove that it wasn't suicide, or at least that it wasn't a normal suicide. There's a couple of pretty infamous, basically unsolved cases that were ruled suicide that people are arguing are homicide or at best accident because there was no blowback in the contact wound or because there was no powder stippling. It's particularly notable in some cases where somebody has appeared to commit suicide with something like a shotgun that's a very long barrel or a rifle, but has apparently somehow cleared it from a couple of feet away, which is very difficult to do with your standard length arms. Anyway, it's a thing. It shows up in mystery cases, both in real life and in fiction. Order! Order! Mr. Von Karma, are you sure of the accuracy of your data? Of course. I had already considered the possibility of suicide, you see. Autopsy report updated. I see. Very well, allow me to state my opinion. Considering the situation, the shooter had to be the defendant, Mr. Edgeworth. However, the prints on the gun revealed that the shooter was not Mr. Edgeworth. This is a conundrum. Therefore, I would like to suspend proceedings for this trial for the day. The court orders the defense and the prosecution to further investigate this matter. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. That is all. The court is adjourned. Close one. Hey! Don't you have anything to say? No. I have yet to be declared innocent. Well, yeah, but what happened out there on that lake anyway? If he didn't commit suicide, then who did? The shooter was about a meter away, too. Don't give me that look. I did not kill him. Just kidding around. Look. I'm gonna go check on Maya. Oh. What? Tell her something for me. What? Tell her to watch what she says in court. That's all. Would it kill you to just state how you really feel with the thanks, Edgeworth? At this point it might kind of kill him. He's a lot of repression right now. Edgeworth is not good with touchy-feely things. He is never good with touchy-feely things. He never gets to be good with touchy-feely things. Later on, he does actually mellow out quite a bit, but he's still not good with touchy-feely things. I requisitioned a transcript of Lotta's entire testimony. I thought it might give me some ammunition for the trial tomorrow. Of course, she didn't see the shooter. So the only part of her testimony that stood was the bang she heard. Now, in American courts in particular, there would the defense and prosecution would not be out doing their own investigating. By the time a case gets to trial, pretty much all of the investigation would be over. In the court system as it currently stands, trials tend to take a very, very long time. And this is because all of the evidence has to go through collection and investigation by the police forces, and then once the evidence is all collected, defense and prosecution both build up their cases. There's a process called discovery, where the prosecution, who gets their evidence directly from the police, is required to hand over literally everything that is even remotely relevant to the defense, so that they can mount a rebuttal, basically, to whatever evidence the prosecution is using to build their case. The discovery process is absolutely vital to the court system, and people who do not participate in the discovery process are sanctioned quite heavily. This is actually, as I speak, former President Donald Trump is on trial for, a whole bunch of shit. And a considerable portion of that shit, aside from the racketeering charges, is actually obstruction of justice, and failing to participate in discovery in other cases. Basically, he has just not turned things over, and that makes the court extra special angry, because that's how the court operates. In this case, this game is based, as I said, more on a caricature of the Japanese justice system, and the defense and prosecution still aren't really supposed to be continuing their investigation while the case is going, but it's more of an argumentative system than our adversarial system, so it's more common for there to be debate back and forth like this. You still don't shout at each other in court, that just doesn't happen. But it is, at least in theory, the arguments are in theory more malleable, because the aim is to discover the truth of what happened rather than to win your side of the argument, if that makes sense. So this thing where Phoenix has to go out and do all the footwork for his own investigations, that absolutely doesn't happen. This is a conceit of the games, and so you get to see the entire history rather than simply being handed boxes and boxes and boxes of documents by the police, who ideally have actually done their job, but frankly, if they're being headed up by Detective Gumshoe, are probably kind of at a loss. You do find out a lot more about the case. As it stands, this is a good cliffhanger mystery. This is typical of what happens in the plotting to these games. Basically, you go back and forth in court until Phoenix finds a solution to the mystery, which in this case was that the victim committed suicide. And your reward for solving that mystery the first way is a piece of information that makes your solution false. That information you didn't account for before because you didn't have it before. It's your reward for solving that segment of the case. So now, clearly Edgeworth didn't shoot him, and you kind of knew that because of how the plot works. Clearly, Edgeworth did not shoot the guy, because the photo of the shooting shows somebody firing with their left hand, whereas the print of the gun was from Edgeworth's right. But you don't know who killed him, how they managed to shoot him from a meter away when presumably he was facing Edgeworth out on that boat, and why the fingerprints from the wrong hand are now on that gun. And more than that, you don't know the victim's connection to any of this. I mean, the motive right now is implied to be that this was the defense attorney who got the guy accused of murdering Edgeworth's father off, and Edgeworth presumably wanted revenge for that verdict. He wanted justice for his father. And there have been some real life cases where people were acquitted of a crime that they almost definitely committed, but the prosecution couldn't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, who were then killed by somebody related to a victim of a crime. There was a particularly famous case actually involving an airliner crash where the air traffic controller who erroneously lost track of a particular plane and directed them to fly at the wrong altitude, thus running them headfirst into a different plane, was actually up on, I think he was up on charges. He was acquitted on the, he was not negligent. The organization of the air traffic controllers at the time was found to be basically the ATC guy was doing the best with what he had, and he was judged to be not responsible for the disaster. Unfortunately, the parents of a child who was lost on that flight later hunted him down where he lived and murdered. So these things do happen, and that's implied to be Edgeworth's motive in this case. The reason you're getting information about the spirit medium and all that sort of thing is that it was Misty Faye was apparently an integral part in their original solution to the BL6 incident. I want to note that it is never actually stated what testimony they got either from the ghost of Gregory Edgeworth or from Misty Faye, who was theoretically talking to the ghost of Gregory Edgeworth. Um, you never actually find out exactly what happened there. There was brief mention of Mia using her spirit summoning abilities to communicate with the ghosts of some of Red White's former victims who had committed suicide because they were being blackmailed so hard. They never say whether, like, they never say how she communicated with them. It is implied or stated, it's established later on that Mia and Maya communicate basically by writing each other letters back and forth. They don't speak directly when Maya summons Mia. And in fact, when Mia is in control of the body Maya is lending her, Maya doesn't know what's going on. So Phoenix has to fill her in later. Um, yeah, at some point later, they at one point use basically Mia as a back channel communications, where she and Maya get to write notes back and forth for to help solve a different case. So, how exactly they ask questions of the ghost of Gregory Edgeworth is kind of up in the air. I don't know whether the police gave Misty a series of questions to get answers to, or whether she actually summoned the ghost and let him borrow her body so that he could be questioned directly by the police. It seems to be the former one, because as we find out, there's like a limit to the amount of information they got from Gregory, and also because there are later cases in later games that involve people channeling spirits who then take action that the medium lending the body is unaware of and cannot testify to later in the same court case. The court does not appear to be aware that it is possible for a summoned spirit to possess someone else's body, as Mia does Maya, and appear as the deceased. So presumably that part of it was not actually conveyed to the court. And almost certainly Misty herself did not testify in the court or in the trial that Robert Hammond was defending in, because if she had, this case being used, that would have come out long before Red White had anything to say to the press. That part was kept very hush-hush, and it's not in official transcripts or anything. That's very much a rumor, that was destructive information that was brought out as a form of blackmail. So you actually learn just little about what the victim has to say about this crime. Um, and and when you find out the circumstances of the crime, you also realize that there is a limit to what the deceased would know. I mean, if you got whacked from behind, you wouldn't know who shot you, would you? So even that is of fairly limited relevance. A later game in the series involves spirit summoning through a different mechanism. If like game number 6, Spirit of Justice, has a lot to do with that. You also find out that you are limited to the knowledge of the knowledge of the deceased. If they don't know, you can't ask them and get a useful answer. So all in all, DL6 was an absolute mess, which makes this case an absolute mess. And Edgeworth is busy bottling up the everything, which he tends to do, as I can tell, for the rest of his natural life. He's apparently just kind of always been like this. I mean, Phoenix doesn't think that aspect of his personality is a huge change. He's just kind of grumpy and reticent and doesn't talk about feelings too much, so when he does, it's a really noticeable. If you want to see my notes on the end of Turnabout Samurai when the two of them have a confrontation in the defense lobby, that's actually, if you go to the website listed down at the bottom of the screen, that's ucred.wixsite.com/ratomoon, the blog there is all of my case notes on all of these things. That conversation in Japanese is even more interesting than it is in English. Maya and Will Powers are very confused about the conversation they have in English because it doesn't quite sound right. In Japanese, Mitsurugi Naruhodo, pretty much that same conversation, and it's translated pretty literally, but the grammar and phrasing in Japanese make it pretty clear that this, whatever they're actually saying, this is not a conversation between two people who hate each other, one of whom is pissed about losing. It's a conversation between two people who know each other, one of whom is coping with something so badly it makes him angry. And this, it continues in Japanese all through Sayonara Gyakuten, which is what's Japanese. It continues all throughout this case. They address each other in an extremely familiar manner. They clearly know each other very well, and there's a lot that Phoenix has not divulged to Miley about what happened when they were kids that actually Larry the Idiot also knows about, but like he's not gonna tell. So yeah, it's a gigantic mess. It's a big sort of feelings mess that has a murder mixed into it. I mean, you do, as you would guess, you do find out later on that Edgeworth was pretty devastated by the death of his father. You would expect that. He's just not going to cop to it out loud, and it messed with his head quite a bit. There are some other things that resulted from the death of his father that did worse. And there's particularly a reason he knows how vicious Von Karma can be. You might imagine Von Karma is not very happy at this point in the proceedings. He has not lost a case in 40 years, and now Phoenix is nitpicking him to the point where the trial has continued past day one. He is pretty pissed. But I got some stuff to do this afternoon, and I actually work an event tonight, so I gotta get ready for that too. I will leave off here after the first segment of the trial. We will resume the investigation and trial next Saturday. Same rat time, same rat channel. And in addition to that, in addition to the Saturday morning streams this October, I'm actually going to be doing something a little bit special on Halloween night. I have work in class that day, so I'll be getting back really late, but I'm gonna say around, I don't know, 9:30, 10 Eastern, pretty late on Halloween night, I will actually be streaming the Steam playthrough of the demo of a game called Ghost Trick. Now, it's done by the same people as the Ace Attorney. It's directed and created by Takamisu, and I've played the DS version. And the DS version of that game was absolutely beautiful. It has some of the smoothest, most beautifully done animation I've ever seen on any game, much less a DS game. It's beautiful sprite work. I love the aesthetic. The mystery of the game is absolutely crazy. At one point near the end, I was screaming at the screen, "Am I secretly the umbrella? Am I a sentient umbrella?" And if you've ever played that game, that actually makes perfect sense. But I have not played the Steam version yet, and I'm really interested to see how they tweaked the controls for a single screen keyboard based experience, because I distinctly remember the controls for that game depended really heavily on basically a multi-touch mechanism where you could press and hold 2 points on the touchscreen of the DS at the same time to activate your to accomplish your actual actions. So I'm really kind of excited to see how they adapted that for Steam. And if they have adapted that for Steam, I'm hoping at some point to pick it up and play it for you guys because it's a really clever, quirky, and surprisingly heart-wrenching game. I think it would go over really well with fans of the Ace Attorney franchise, which obviously you are if you're sitting through all of my ramble. But Having said that, I will put up a notice on the Ratto Moon blog on the Ratto Moon webpage. I hope you all enjoyed my new Halloween theme. It's spooky season. If you check out my Patreon and my Instagram, which are all under the name Circe Rowan, I will be posting photos of the Rattoween cage set. I've already done some of the hammocks for it. They're fuzzy and spooky and have silhouettes on them, and I'll probably also post pictures of Halloween outfit. I'm not going for a full-on costume this year, partly because I don't have time, partly because I have a lot of stuff to do on Halloween that wouldn't be okay, like it wouldn't be feasible to wear a costume to. But I do have some spider embroidery on a sweatshirt that's about done. Some interesting Halloween leggings coming and all that. I post a picture of my class outfit for that. I have a street choreo class, a street jazz class that night that we usually wear like hip hop athletic wear to, and I promise to be very cute and probably wearing gigantic spidery fake eyelashes because that's half of the fun of going to the Dollar Tree these days, buying eyelashes that have interesting shit with them. Anyway, I will see you guys next Saturday. I have to go get ready for an event. I will see you guys the Saturday after that, and then I will. Thank you so much for joining me for this playthrough of Ace Attorney. We will continue attempting to save Edgeworth basically from himself for the next couple of weeks. And after that, there's actually a bonus case on the remake of the Phoenix Wright games called Rise from the Ashes that I will have a lot more to say about when we get there because it's not my favorite for a number of reasons. Anyway, join me for more babble. The case notes are posted on the Ratto Moon blog. Notifications are posted on the Ratto Moon blog. Follow me on Instagram, and I post notifications of streaming most of the time. It's a regular 11 a.m. Saturday stream. And I will see you guys next week. Bye for now.